instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we're here talking about it. And tonight, we're going to one of my, I guess this would be a bucket list place for me.
The town too tough to die.
Too tough to die. Tombstone, Arizona.
And you know what?
Oh, go ahead. So,
I was going to say, this town is so iconic. We're like, all right, well, got a lot of meat in this episode. You know what? We want to have a lot of good content because it's a legendary town. And we're like, well, we need an appropriate jump scare, but we got a little extra special message from somebody.
Yeah, someone, they sent us something. They knew it was our 50th episode and they wanted to reach out to us. And here we go. Let me click this here. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 50 of Other Dangerous Podcast. I'm Chills, and I wanted to send a very special message to the two guys with the Burger King foot lettuce, Jason McKittrick and Ken James.
Wow, is that the real Chills?
In the comments, you'll see this is the real Chills. I'm here leaving a message to the dudes. And once you're done with this episode, make sure you smash that like button and let us know in the comments if you enjoy this episode or if, in fact, you think Jay and Ken are real.
Wow, that really was him, huh?
Yeah, man. He reached out to us and we were like, I was like, whoa, all the shit we
50th from Chills.
Yeah,
amazing.
Thanks, Chills.
Huh.
Man, whew.
You think you could help my rap career?
Oh, let me see if there's another message. Hold on 1 second. If you're trying to bust hot rhymes, Jay, I can definitely help. Have you heard my song number 15?
No, I've never heard.
How's it going, buddy? That's how I start. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah.
You got a foot fetish? I got the foot lettuce.
Those are crazy hot rhymes. He's spitting fire. I mean, you know.
And thanks again, Chills, for we've been not kind to you and for to leave us that message. That's
and I'm not going to start either. So
yeah, we're not. You're still a fucking tool bag.
Yeah, man. I hope flaming skulls happen at his place. Fuck! What do we have to say? Beetlejuice? What the fuck is that?
Oh god. No, all right. We're okay. We're okay. But back to Tombstone.
Indeed, sir.
First, Jay, I would like to say my love for Tombstone. It spawned as a young man from the film Tombstone. That there was riddled with production errors in the beginning, and the director pretty much walked out. And my boy Kurt Russell himself pretty much took over and directed the film.
Well, as he's wont to do.
Yes.
I heard if you have him on your production, he's just in charge.
Yeah, I go for it. Take over, Kurt.
Yep.
No boggles.
The Thing is a documentary.
But yeah, that movie, man, I remember seeing it and it was just like, it like almost, started my love of Wild West films and I've seen ones before, but like something about that movie, it could have been Val Kilmer, could have been, Bill Paxton, it could have been Sam Elliott. So many good
Don't forget
actors.
Michael Biehn as Johnny Ringo.
Johnny Ringo is a monster in that movie, and our boy Val, what a nemesis for him.
Tommy Huckleberry.
He's man up to play for blood, and
I was just joking.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm here, and that's just my game. I love that shit.
Yep. It's I enjoyed the movie as well, but I think I was introduced as with most of these, I was introduced to Tombstone from Unsolved Mysteries. Whee! We're gonna get Robert Stack on the show. He's not busy, right?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was from the one episode where it was just they show that one, what do they call it, the loneliest mile, I think they call it, that one walkway that they have, and they had that one recreation of like the cowboy ghost, like he's walking and they do those awesome 90s effects where he's bluish but then he like disappears as he's walking, and they have the awesome music at the end where it's like you know, is it a mystery? It just might be. And then the whoo. And they go back to Robert Stack and he's just like smirking.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you ready, fuckers?"
Yeah.
Here comes a gut punch.
Idea.
Yeah. Here comes a gut punch from the Stack man himself.
Yeah, from the nosy bitch up the street. So, I mean, and then, you know, as you get older, you watch more paranormal things or just, get more into it, and you just come to realize how, important, I guess we'll put that in quotes, important this is to the history of the paranormal. But it's just one of those towns where it's like, hey, every building left standing, they're all haunted. Right. And whenever one of the ghost hunting TV shows goes, it usually ends up as like a multi-episode deal, right? Because it's like they got to do the Birdcage, they got to do OK Corral, they got to do
Big
Boot
Nose
Hill,
Kate's and
Big Nose Kate's.
And there's so many different paranormal shows that won here. We have been subjected to such a slew of reenactments of different ghost effects and different people in 1880s clothing, just like lonely spurs, and guys smoking, pretending to get shot in the back, and they look back and they're like, didn't even knock him off his feet.
Yep. No, it's quintessential haunted Old West stuff, and then through games like the Red Dead games, it just further just further enriched the love of the whole Tombstone aesthetic. So
yes, sir.
So we're gonna do. I guess we're gonna take a ghost tour.
Take a little ghost tour
through the town of Tombstone.
Yeah, come with us. Bring your chaps and your saddlebags. We're going.
Exactly.
Don't forget about chills. I'm along for the ride.
The ride for episode 50?
Episode 50. I'll be here in and out. It's a milestone for these two dudes.
So our first stop. Can we leave chills at the guest relations center?
Yeah, it's chills. Come on, man. Get out of here.
Exactly. So first up on our little tour, we have the infamous Birdcage Theater. Literally every ghost anything that visits this town, this is the first place they go to, right?
Right.
So in 1882, the New York Times declared that Tombstone's Birdcage Theater was the roughest, bawdiest, and most wicked night spot between Basin Street and the Barbary Coast. 26 deaths and 140 bullet holes later, this American icon is packed with poltergeists, gunslingers, gamblers, prostitutes, poker players. Who's pawning this spooky saloon?
Dude, it sounds like a time. Like that's...
Yeah. No. So it's, documented. 26 people died in the Birdcage Theater. It also operated as your classic theater, saloon, brothel, and gambling parlor. A birdcage is what we refer to. They call it that because they have these. You ever seen those old school movies where you have like the ladies literally not exactly in a cage, but they're like those domed areas, those little like nooks.
Oh yeah.
And in those theaters, those were used for literally women to just be, painted ladies to be dancing in these areas. So that's where it got its name. And also, famously, site of the world's longest running poker game. Which, if you want to look into that, go for it. I think it's like, what was it, like days and days and days, months, years? I don't know.
It's still going right now.
Yep. And the site of where one woman's heart was chiseled
from
her chest. Remember that story?
Gold dollar.
Oh yeah, gold dollar.
To poor Margarita,
oh yes. In the town, too tough to die, like you said, the Birdcage Theater may be the most gruesome attraction. 26 people allegedly died within the building in shootouts, stabbings, and suicide. The most infamous murder involves Painted Lady Margarita, whose heart was chiseled from her chest with a double-edged stiletto. Famously featured in Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Lab, and Factor Fake Paranormal. Oh God, that's the worst one. Those are the dudes that would like get up there and just like start yelling.
Well, then they blow up the ghosts at the end. They were doing that for a while, where they like had the contraptions, and they were like, "We got him!" And then
that's right. Remember, it was like a Coleman like fucking cooler, and it was like lined with tinfoil. I was like, "Are you guys fucking serious?" I was watching. I was like, "This is not a joke." Like, you could see as the orb floats into the camera screen that the ghost is securely trapped within the box. I'm like, no fucking way. This is not real. And then they get it, and the two like fucking high five.
Yeah. Yep. And then like they like someone like ignites like magnesium sulfate, so it's got like a nice smoky, fiery effect. And yeah. Funniest thing though that I found about the Birdcage is like it was supposed to like lure in the fancy folk, right? It was supposed to be for like the well-to-do and and then it just was like the high rollers went in there. They were just like, and they were like quickly like, let's just bring the prosties in and have them run wild in here.
Yep. Oh yeah. The prosties. Well, it's it was they were trying to get the boys were out there getting all this gold and silver and whatnot, and they were trying to separate them from every last ounce of it. So
make that silver mine money, yo.
Yeah. Sure. So Tombstone's grisliest murder, right? This murder at the Birdcage Theater involved the two madams that we mentioned. One, Little Gertie, the Gold Dollar. She was employed at the Crystal Palace, a rival brothel, and Margarita was her competing Painted Lady, the Belle of the Birdcage. In 1882, Billy Milgreen was caught entertaining the tall, dark, and willowy Margarita. Milgreen was a regular of Gold Dollar, Margarita's competitor. So some even allege that Milgreen was Gold Dollar's live-in lover. So it's all tangled with intrigue and Margarita wasn't afraid of Gold Dollar, despite Gold Dollar's reputation as a gutsy, gritty woman. Perhaps it was because of Gold Dollar's size. She was known as Little Gertie due to her petiteness.
Little Gertie.
Yeah, she misunderestimated her though, because Gold Dollar didn't attack Margarita until she crawled into Milgreen's lap. Gold Dollar felt slighted, thinking that Margarita had stolen a tried and true customer, or worse, that Margarita had stolen her man.
Damn.
Grabbing a handful of Margarita's hair, Gold Dollar stabbed her with a double-edged stiletto stashed in her garter. She hacked at Margarita's heart. It was a macabre moment, too morbid for Gold Dollar to stick around. She fled the scene as soon as the marshal arrived.
Yeesh.
Yeah, man. Little Gertie, the Gold Dollar, was eventually apprehended, yet was discovered without a weapon. Curiously, no charges were filed. If there was no murder weapon, there was no evidence.
Yeah. The cops showed up and they were just like, Gold Dollar, did you happen to cut a woman's heart out? Poor Margarita. And she was like,
well, how did I do it? I don't have a weapon. There's no knife around.
There's no knife in my place. Where could I possibly gotten a knife?
Maybe they were scared shitless of her. Maybe she was just like, punking out the cops.
No, she serviced them all. That's what that was. Dude, they were like, we're not getting rid of Gold Dollar. She gives the best handy this side.
I was trying to go for an angle, but yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. There's come on.
Oh, hell yeah. So, visitors alleged to see the murdered madam today catching glimpses of this scandalous specter. Apparently, they see her naked sometimes on stairs.
That's a fun ghost.
Yeah. Quoted, I saw an apparition of a young woman who entered the curtain. She was between the ages of 18 and 20. She was leaning on the balustrade, and when she looked at the balustrade, she seemed to say that the place was unoccupied and there was no one in the alcoves. She was only wearing a bloomer, so she stood out. Yeah,
and he's like, and I knew it must have been a ghost because supernaturally my pants got tighter when I saw this ghost.
Wow. Okay, this is a house of ill repute, so I guess we'll go with that theme.
Yeah,
how about this though? Gold Dollar's stiletto was discovered a century later behind the Birdcage Theater. You can find it there on display today. So what did it do? Pull prints a century later?
Yeah, they were like we've been well, there was probably her DNA all over the place, under rocks,
Well, maybe not her DNA so much. Maybe all the prospectors' DNA.
The whole town is a cumulative DNA site. There's
the
there
protein
actually
stained theater.
they have the gravestone at Boot Hill Graveyard for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, they do.
Shit.
Yeah, man. They also have reported as the ghostly woman in white. The most peculiar poltergeist is the woman in white. She's said to appear as a proper lady, which is a rarity for being in a brothel.
Yeah.
Almost everyone who works here has had an experience of some kind with the lady in white. I have seen her. She came down the stairwell into the poker room. She wore a white dress and a white bonnet. She stood in front of me for a very long time without reacting to my presence at all. It's like she didn't even know I was there. She's what they call a residual haunt. No one has ever identified who she is. A bonnet indicates she was a proper lady, and no proper ladies ever came in there. Most of us who work here think that she came in with the hearse and is now trapped here.
Oh,
yeah. So there's that hearse that they have there on display.
Right.
If you actually see that one episode of Ghost Adventures, Zach just loses his mind. He's like, "This is a hearse." Like he just like looks at the camera. And it's pretty.
Wow.
Exactly. It's pretty classic Bagans.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we have. Oh boy! Did you come across the strangulation at the seance?
Oh, dude.
So, in the 1980s, William Hunley conducted a seance at the Birdcage Theater. Hunley was the proprietor at the time and hired a prominent psychic medium. I'm going to say it's Sylvia Brown, even though I don't know that it was, but let's just say it was.
Right. Well, before,
Sylvia?
Well, because she could never be wrong.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And also, we do have a clip of that, of a retelling of that seance.
We do.
And we can put it in right here.
One Texas oil company owner was so intrigued by the phantoms of the theater that he hired a medium to conduct a seance there. The oil man gathered together several prominent people from Tombstone in the main hall of the theater and waited for night to fall.
We're gathered here tonight at the Birdcage Theater to raise the spirits of the dead.
It was an event that Bill Hunley wishes he never attended.
And died in this place.
During the seance, when the medium went into her trance, someone started choking me to the point that I couldn't even talk, and finally my wife was sitting next to me. I squeezed her hand so hard that she screamed, and they realized that my face was turning blue and that I was being choked. I'm very, very close to buying the farm that night. That's the first time in my life I ever had a unfriendly spirit, or whatever we want to call them. I've been in this building since I was a kid, and I've slept in the building. I've heard the sounds of 1,000 different times, and I had no problems. They won't hurt you at all. But evidently we got a spirit that night. The medium awoken a spirit that didn't want to be awakened.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Well, the voice is just so like Velveeta cheese.
Smooth.
Yeah. So the psychic, quote unquote, suspected that foul play was about, and likely from the poltergeist inhabiting the structure. During the seance, one spiteful spirit began to strangle William Hunley. Attendants were aghast, struck by frightful fits. The violence only ceased once the bustle broke the medium from her trance. William's neck was bruised for 6 weeks afterwards. Who was this strangling specter?
Who was it? Oh yeah,
the shadow knows.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. So, and then there's the antique poker chip. This one was like, they were telling the story, and I was like, okay. So once an antique poker chip would appear and disappear, materializing only to vanish into thin air. Bill Hunley, son of William Hunley, began to lock the chip in a bank vault. So the thing about this chip is, it was like a $25 piece from the original the original
Faro games and shit.
Yeah, the original 8 years that this place was only open for.
Okay.
Apparently there's only 3 of them in the world. This is a very valuable piece,
sought after piece.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, this is Wild West history, and almost as valuable as the statue of Man Bear Pig. See Red Dead Redemption 2 for that reference. I'm sorry. So they had this locked up, and it was like a big deal. And apparently, this poltergeist moves it around. But the way that they tell the story, I was like, it's like the guy's just picking it up and putting it on the table to spook these guys out. I mean, it's fun. I love it. But I'm always down for a good trickster. Like that's a lighthearted one. I love those ones. But what they do is they're like, oh, well, it's part of this game, and, Doc Holliday played here, so, like, it's probably the spirit of Doc Holliday. It's like, you just want to say Doc Holliday was in there.
Oh, well,
I mean, he was.
What was that? What does the guy say in the one documentary? He said there's 4 magic words that keep this place, he said.
Oh, yeah, it's like Tombstone, Earp,
Holiday, and
hookers, or whatever he said.
Prosties.
Chills. We don't need your help.
All right, I'll go. Psych.
Yes.
Sorry, Chills. Just we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Will we though?
Maybe.
Okay. So there is so much stuff just in this building that to sit here and go through all of it would literally be one episode, but we're trying to have like a fun little tour here. I mean, literally there is a room in the Birdcage Theater where Wyatt Earp had an affair with a quote unquote painted lady or soiled dove, and it didn't go well. So now her ghost haunts this room. What are we supposed to infer from that story?
Are we thinking that
did he murder a hooker?
Yeah, Wyatt Earp. There was a disagreement about payment. Is that because that's that's a tale as old as time?
Maybe she made a joke about a 6-shooter and he couldn't handle it. Throwing shade on Wyatt Earp.
I don't want to do that.
No, it's not Kurt Russell.
Oh, that's true. It's your great point. Great point.
So,
is in my head, I'm always like, anytime they talk about historical Wyatt Earp, I just picture Kurt Russell dressed like in Big Trouble in Little China. I'm like,
right. I mean, he has to have the tank top on now.
Right.
I heard the move that he did on the hooker was called the Pork Chop Express. So I don't know if there's a connection there. So that world's longest running poker game, that lasted for 24 hours a day for 8 years, 5 months, and 3 days, with a minimum buy-in of $1,000 back in 1881 or 2, whatever it was. That's insane.
That is insane.
So they're thinking like those ghosts are just sitting there still playing poker, but now the stakes are your lives. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Like, oh man, like of course, because if you're playing that long, you're in and out, you're coming and going, you're moving around, right? So you're jumping back in and out of this game. It's like the one thing we were talking about, the one episode where the wear and time, you rub the jeans and they start to fade.
Yeah.
If you're playing poker that long and you're that frustrated, you're gonna.
They still have the table. I mean, I think it's I don't know, man. I think it's out of all this stuff. I mean, all this stuff happened there. What we talk about with the other places, emotions run high.
Right.
So like those kind of places. But then the card game, like they still have that table. You know what I mean? That table's still there, and like there's still bullet holes everywhere. Like this place kind of rings true for me because it's just like all this stuff happened. It was only 8 years. All these people came in and out, and it was like they say tens of millions of hands of poker were played. Like it was just boom. So
and I mean like the everyone knew each other, right? Because they were coming from town to town, and like Tombstone was their last chance to strike it. So that even made the tensions run high even more, especially if you're like, I'm a card player, this is what I do. This is my chance to get my nest egg to set up shop in some dusty lot somewhere. Right.
So another, I thought this was kind of cool. They have this thing called the human fly, which is this act that it's sort of almost like a trapeze act that women would perform in these saloons back in the late 1800s, where it was almost like a swing, and they would swing and then they would walk on the. And when they would get over the top to go over, they would take a couple steps on the ceiling and then come all the way down.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they call it the human fly. You see it in Sherlock Holmes 2. If you watch that when they go out for his stag party, they're in like this like kind of place, and like there's a girl does it a couple times. It's called the human fly. It was like a thing that they used to do. It was like, we're having a good time, give us your money. But apparently one performer met her untimely end once one of the clamps slipped. She fell to the stage and was struck dead upon impact. So they say that sometimes you can hear the squeaking of this clamp or whatever, and then that people have seen her crumpled up corpse on the stage.
Imagine seeing that fucking ghost though. You're just in there, you're having a good time. I wanted to be here forever, and you look up for a second, and then there's just like a on the roof, ooh,
yeah,
that's the money.
Man. So that's what I got for the first stop.
All right. I guess take my hand, and we'll walk over to Boot Hill Graveyard.
Ooh.
Ching, ching, my
or
spurs.
Otherwise known as, Lover's Lane of Tombstone.
All right, so fun facts about Boot Hill Cemetery. Okay, 1, Boot Hill cemeteries were named after those buried with their boots on.
Yep.
Also, Boot Hill interred outlaws from 1878 to 1884. So we got some old bodies out there. Billy Clanton, Tom and Frank McClory are buried at Boot Hill. Some of the burials are fictitious, so there's some faux graves out there. And then Tombstone's godfather may haunt this location.
Indeed.
So, is the Boot Hill haunted? One may ask. Boot Hill isn't Tombstone's first cemetery, but it's Tombstone's most notorious. Named for those buried with their boots on, Boot Hill interred outlaws from 1878 to 1884. Their poltergeists come as no surprise. No surprise. Chills, get out of here. Travelers report spectral shadows, strange lights, and spooky sounds.
Yes, but did you smash that like button?
Chills.
My voice changes sometimes. Don't point it out.
I wasn't gonna, man. You're so weird.
Number 15.
Oh, he had to drop one. So in Boot Hill's gift shop, merchandise is inexplicably misplaced, disturbed, and disheveled. The sweatshirt rack rotates on its own. Ooh, untouched by human hands.
It must be a ghost.
Photographs reveal apparitions unseen to the naked eye. In the one documentary, the lady with the Polaroids. Remember that? And she can't explain why the every time. It's obviously because of the closest to her glasses and anyway, I digress. But
you're professionals. How dare you?
Right. Billy Clanton is the most popular poltergeist, said to rise from his grave each night. He meanders throughout Tombstone, packing his pistol. Tombstone's godfather is another internment, though her phantom is often referred to as the Lady in Red. That's right. The godfather is a woman.
Dun, dun, dun.
Others witness unidentified ghosts above unmarked graves, which there's probably
Oh, yeah, because the term buried with their boots on, that's because they were shot in the saloons and they're like, all right, get these motherfuckers out of here. And they just buried them.
Yeah, they said the bodies were taken out of the saloons as frequent as beer bottles were. But
I'm into it.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so spirit photography is particularly popular at Boot Hill. Pictures taken at the site often reveal unaccountable guests. Yet, unlike other spectral occurrences, these apparitions appear most often during a daytime. One infamous image recorded a man wielding a knife behind a female relative. However, both women alleged that they had been alone. Who are these phantom fugitives? Now, is this on the site where that famous Tombstone picture is, where there's the guy, like, half his body's kind of sticking out of the ground, and he's in, like, the duster?
I don't know, because there's that one, the guy who's... All right, so that one I think I know the picture you're talking about, but there's one that gets confused. So you have a guy who's like in a cowboy outfit because he's a cosplay douche. He's there like, I'm here at fucking Tombstone. He's got his things like,
Yeah.
But in the back,
that's the one
like
I'm talking about.
Walking.
Well,
The
one I'm talking about, like he kind of doesn't look like he's walking. It kind of looks like he's like kind of like facing like kind of that angle. You know what I mean?
It's hard to tell. He's in the middle distance, and you
Right.
can see his head. It's clearly there. He's got like a black hat on. It's
Facial
a super
hair
famous.
at the time.
Does he?
I believe so. I believe he's got the goatee with the mustache.
But I know that one specifically for two reasons. Number one, that was on the infamous and gorgeous JK Cinema series of Ghost. Remember that?
Oh yeah, we talk about that like almost every time we get together.
Look, man, I don't have any memory. We just talk about this shit like we're just having a,
Yeah, but like so, and once again, our intro is almost loosely based on their theme song. So, little shout out to JK Cinema. And
man, how many times did you watch that?
Oh my god, dude!
Just the Ghost one.
Well, I watched the other ones too.
Oh, me too.
Because like they had a weird way, because it was in the peak of Flash animation, and like to find someone who dedicated. Oh my god! And the scream, or even in the beginning of the one with the Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven, where like it comes in, they start playing
Satan,
and the Satan's face like kind of fades in, and then it cuts to the beginning. You're like, this is great.
The producers for the Fox TV show, they purchased cheap wedding gowns from the shop in town.
Dude, so good. Folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, after you smash that like button, go look up JK Cinema. They have it's
Ghost
like a library
series.
of just look up JK Cinema Ghosts. It'll come up. I think they're all on YouTube, but they have like a Ghost one, an Alien one. Then there's like Urban Legends, like 3 or 4 of them.
Right.
They're super dated, but like it's like dawn of the internet almost kind of stuff. It was like and it's all Flash animation, but it's like if you're into the stuff like we are, like it's just like it's just so good.
It grabs something. It like grabs at something that you're like, ooh, I haven't. It hasn't
Remember
been like
these
this
days?
for a while.
I feel like I was eating off the dollar like menu at Burger King when I was watching these fucking things.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense. Because there is no dollar menu anymore. But
that's true.
Right. So we digress once more. Chills through it. That was Chill's fault that we went into that. But
right.
All right, so
I do want to add something there. I have a fun little trivia there.
Yes.
The with that image that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So do you ever read the comic book Preacher?
Yeah.
Or see the series?
Yes, I watched the series and I dabbled.
Okay, so that particular picture was part of the inspiration for. So you have in that series, you have a character called the Saint of Killers, who like his resting place, his grave is Boot Hill.
Okay.
So apparently, this is the story that picture. That picture influenced the creators in creating that character. That some assassin, from hell or whatever it was going to be. It was inspired by this photo, and then Saint of Killers. That's where he's risen from. He comes from Boot Hill, and like it was literally like a direct inspiration from that picture.
That's awesome. That's a great tidbit.
Pop culture reference.
I gotta make like a little theme for like great tidbit, and like a bit, like.
Do it.
Yeah. Do it. Why aren't you? Anyway. All right. So
kill him.
Yeah.
Kill him now.
Do it. All right. So
twice the pride, double the soul.
Sorry. You can't do that to me. You can't bring out Star Wars.
You're right. I'm sorry. So one journalist once over. I know you did. Can't blame Chills for this one, pal. One journalist once overheard a strange small voice. The journalist had stopped at an unmarked grave where he could make out a teeniest whisper. It was very nice of you to do that. I don't know why every time I do a whispering voice, it's British. But
go for it, buddy.
It was nice of you to do that. Startled the journalist, and he stepped back. He assumed that he had mistaken the sound. Yet once the journalist stepped forward once more, the voice again spoke. You came back. You must like to play with me a lot. The voice sounded confident, yet childlike. That wasn't confident. A confident child is like, you came back. You was like playing with me.
Yeah.
Stuff. But when the voice began to laugh.
Give me that you came back. You must like to play with me a lot, but like super Philadelphia suburb.
But like a kid?
Yeah.
Hold on. You came back. You must like to play with me a lot.
That's pretty good.
Yay. we're going to ride our bikes down to Rita's and get some water ice.
Water ice.
Water ice.
After Wawa.
Yeah, after Wawa, we go there. We get our
Watch
hoagies.
the Eagles.
Yeah, watch the Eagles. Eat our hoagies.
On
But on the couch in your house. Watch out, the spigot's messed up. But it was when the voice began to laugh that the journalist panicked. He detected a human-like shadow from the corner of his eye and a spectral figure snaking through the stones. That's creepy. The journalist was struck dumb, shell-shocked even. The poltergeist disappeared. The unmarked grave was all that remained.
So that's like a shadow person
Right, a shadow person at a place that was, an unmarked grave.
impersonating a child.
Yeah, impersonating a child. That's
Could
something.
it be demons?
I sense the presence of demons at the unmarked grave. We set up our dowsing rods.
I immediately pulled out the ovulus to see if there was a demonic presence.
The ovulus. The ovulus too. Which
You
is
can obviously see by the 3 sounds it makes that it's the mocking of the Trinity, which immediately signifies that this haunting is demonic.
demonic. Are you a demon presence impersonating a child?
If this really is this is going off the rails.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah. So anyway, all right, but we got another ghost here. It's the ghost of China Mary. Okay, the image of a woman in red is sometimes spotted at Boot Hill. Locals believe her to be China Mary, quote unquote, a significant figure in Tombstone's history. Mary, or Sing Choi, was an astute businesswoman who operated Tombstone's general store and controlled Tombstone's opium dens.
So she was the Madame Gao of Tombstone.
Right. She was the bad bitch who was in charge of, getting you your fix, yo. So Mary supplied hops to the women of Tombstone's red light district to serving as a godfather of Tombstone's community. She was a generous woman, known for her kindness as well as her compassion. Mary died of a heart attack in 1908, interred at Boot Hill. This is why she frequents the burying grounds today. She is Tombstone's woman in red. So, like you do.
I mean, if you're gonna have a woman in white, you're gonna have a woman in red too.
Right. And the thing is, like, them saying like this is why she frequents that area is because she's buried there is kind of like because like it's not a big town, Like they even mentioned like for the size of the town, way too many people were there. Yeah. So like, it could just been she could have been haunting somewhere else and just walk into another haunt and like comes through. All right, so a couple more here for you from Boot Hill. All right, so the Ghost of Billy Clanton. This is a big name. You can't skip over this. You just got to mention it. Some say that Billy Clanton patrols the property before making his way down Allen Street, which is it's that street. Clanton was shot dead in a gunfight at the OK Corral, so it's likely that his poltergeist remains near the site of the shootout. Clanton was buried at Boot Hill, however, his specter tends to lurk about both locations. So it's just what I was just saying there. Okay. So there's a couple of notable markers, including Marshal Fred White, killed by Curly Bill, Tom and Frank McClory, buried alongside Billy Clanton, Curly Bill himself, and the McClorys were lost to the gunfight at the OK Corral, the famous 30-second shootout. Jack Dunlap, the Three-Finger Jack, is another Boot Hill resident. Three-Finger Jack was shot to death during an attempted holdup, and he's said to have gotten his name from one of the brothels. Ooh, bang! You like that? That was a little pepper on top from old Uncle Kenny. Right?
Wait, are you saying that was an ad lib?
'Twas an ad lib, sir. Inspired by Bechtol's article, the Boy Scouts restored the cemetery in 1920s, and they were aided by Harry Macy, who was able to locate the burial sites of the McClorys and Bill Clanton. Mr. Macy erected their marker, Murdered on the Streets of Tombstone, bolstering the mythos of the American municipality. So, yeah, okay, so Murder on the Streets of Tombstone. So that wasn't like even around back then, right? So that was like added, and they incorporated that in the lore.
Yeah, okay. People are dumb.
Yeah, you're very right. Very right. Wow. All right, a couple more things here for you on Boot Hill. Just because we were saying the talking about the fake burials. So this is a little fact or fiction here. Although Boot Hill is an authentic cemetery, some of the most remarkable memorials are fictitious. These were erected to promote tourism and provide playful interpretations of the American Wild West. Not even the Wild West was the Wild West. Lester Moore is one example of a fictitious burial, although he purportedly died in a shootout. No evidence suggests that Moore existed. No evidence indicates that Hank Dustin existed, either, despite allegedly dying in the same gunfight. Nevertheless, Moore's marker reads, "Here lies Lester Moore. 4 slugs from a 44. No less, no more." That's badass, though.
Yeah.
I'm into that. George Johnson is another popular burial in Boot Hill. Johnson may not have existed, yet his epitaph reads, "Here lies George Johnson, hanged by mistake in 1882. He was right, he was wrong, but we strung him up, and now he's gone."
Dude, this is like a front lawn Halloween cemetery.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. There's a couple more here. Other fictitious burials include John Heath, accused of organizing the robbery that incited the Bisbee massacre. Although Heath existed, he was buried at Oakland Cemetery in Terrell, Texas. And Federico Duran, spelled Federico Duran, is another misleading memorial. The marker claims that the Sheriff John slaughtered him, killed Durham after a train robbery, yet Durham was executed by firing squad. He died in Mexico. Duran was not buried in Tombstone, and Slaughter was absent from his death. Now, last thing I'm going to go over here. These are always fun for me, and I'm sure you too. Hidden treasures.
Oh, yeah.
So, some believe there's a hidden treasure in Boot Hill. In August 2009, Lost Treasure suspected that a small fortune was stashed near the grave of Dutch Annie. Cody Polston records the story in Haunted Tombstone. The Can restaurant was famous in its day for its food. It sold lobster, imported fish from Mexico, and had hired a hunter who kept the cafe supplied with fresh meat. It was this man who stole a significant sum of money from the Can and was later caught. He said he buried the score not far from Boot Hill, but was never found. The bandit died before anyone was able to locate the loot. Was this bounty bound at Boot Hill?
I mean, buried treasure. I mean, you might as well throw it on there, because what else?
Right. I mean, do you think John Marston might have found that?
I mean, if anyone found it,
right,
it was fucking John Marston. Although, somebody else who maybe could have done it.
Yeah, it's true. True. Who might?
Your boy,
Arthur Morgan.
There it is.
He's kind of. I kind of like him more than John Marston. But anyway, all right. So
he got more time.
What do you got?
No, I'm just saying the game it just got more fleshed out. John Marston, he was in Red Dead, Redemption. I mean, he.
Yeah. I got you.
I love all the treasure hunting in those games.
So good.
I love the haunted ghost towns.
Oh, dude, well, you finding ghost trains, finding aliens.
Man, bear, pig.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. You find Nikola Tesla, have fun with him.
Yeah. I just the whole idea of the game.
Yeah. It's almost like I wish that that was real life. Like that's like it was but also like I want the cheat codes.
Right. And somehow you have a special skin on your Spencer revolver that just makes it gold, like plated gold, chrome.
Right. And I get enough gold that I can do it to all my weapons when I collect all of them.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I like it. So,
pass it back to you, pal.
Yeah, buddy. We're gonna move away. We're gonna move a little bit away from Boot Hill. A little away. We're gonna go over to a place you may have heard of.
It could have heard.
The Okay Corral. And if you think you know the history of the OK Corral, guess again, sir. This livery and horse.
You have no idea.
Sorry. Yeah, you think you know. What was that show?
That was MTV's like True Life MTV.
Yeah. You think you know. You got no idea.
All right, Snoop.
Yeah, I think that was the Snoop one. I forget.
I'm sure there was Snoop. There was Jack. There was all of them.
Yeah. This livery and horse corral has seen gunslingers, sharpshooters, stagecoaches, and saddle bums. Now, is that a bum who lives in the saddle, or is that a bum that's been in the saddle for too long? Like almost like a truck driver whose ass is just a mess because he sits for
I picture almost like a hobo that just like lives under a saddle.
Oh, okay.
And he just carries around like his saddlebags are on his saddle, and that's where he sleeps, and he has his wares in there,
Okay, and I picture the train hobo from Pee-wee's Big Adventure that gives him the sardines. That's who I picture when I say saddle bum.
Nice.
Okay. He also likes Stu.
I like Steve.
It's also credited with the most famous scuffle in cinema. The 30-second shootout highlighted in over 40 feature films, most notably Gunfight at the OK Corral and 1993's Tombstone, starring Kurt Russell and all those other beautiful sons of bitches. Yet this legendary gunfight happened 6 doors down. Damn it. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Sorry to burst your bubble, gang.
Yep. Plus, Wyatt Earp wasn't the central figure. He was busy killing that prostitute over at the the Crystal Springs Hotel, whatever the fuck we were talking about.
He was like, "What do you mean 3 gold pieces?"
She was like, 6-shooter, more like a 3-shooter, and he just, you know what I mean?
She's like, "Fastest gun in the West, indeed."
Yep. He was like, that's funny. That's real funny.
He's like, "I hope you like getting choked to death."
Yep. Then we pull the wide shot of the outside of the building, and you just hear,
yeah, yep. And then him walking out
with the hanky, and he's just wiping his hands.
Puts a cigarette out on his boot.
Yeah.
High fives, Doc.
Jesus Christ.
Tombstone, written by Ken James.
Canceled at Tombstone.
Yeah. My version will be called Tombone.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
With context. It's context.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're bound to be haunted whenever you're famous for fast draws. Take that as you will. Some think that the OK Corral made more apparitions than any other site in the Southwest. Tombstone's late lawmen and lawless patrol the property, packing their pistols and pitching the tent. I mean, the fit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I didn't write this text, so that's why I can fuck with it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Who are these poltergeists? Well, I don't think they're poltergeists. I mean, that's a very specific type.
Yeah.
All right, so the gunfight at the OK Corral, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's familiar with it. Yet the films are completely deceiving. The shootout did not occur at the OK Corral. Wyatt Earp also wasn't the central figure. Instead, Wyatt's brother Virgil may have been the primary gunslinger. So Virgil at the time was Tombstone's town marshal and deputy U.S. marshal. And I don't care what he looked like in real life. It's fucking Sam Elliott till fucking Judgment Day.
I don't want this with his hands. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he was probably the aggressor who just showed up and started shooting.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. the most popular belief with people doing the the lawmen were doing their job. It's like Virgil just didn't like these guys and wanted to make sure the Earps stayed in power.
Yeah, pretty much. Although these are also the same people that are like that refer to the Civil War as the War of Northern Aggression. But we won't get into that.
Okay, true. Fair enough.
Yeah. Why do we got to take those statues down? They're nice. Anyway.
Cancel the Tombstone by Jason the Kitcher.
Hey, man, I'm not sharing the sentiment. I'm just being one of those.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah. Anyway. So the Cowboys, as they were known, Billy Claiborne, Ike and Billy Clanton, and Tom and Frank McClary had a long, simmering feud with Tombstone's lawman Virgil Earp, Morgan and Wyatt Earp, and Doc Holliday. You can keep this on.
Yeah. Planned on it.
Tombstone had passed an ordinance on April 19th, 1881, requiring everyone who carried a bowie knife, dirk, pistol, or rifle to leave their weapons at the livery before entering.
What do you sound like? I'm trying to think of it's
the ordinance didn't sit well with the Cowboys, who thought that the Earps were badge-toting tyrants. The Earps considered the Cowboys the most reckless class of outlaws in that wild country, infinitely worse than that ordinary robber. George Parson, a resident of Tombstone, wrote that the cowboy is a rustler at times, and a rustler is a synonym for desperado, bandit, outlaw, and horse thief.
You sound like the narrator from. You sound like the narrator
cattleman thought the term an insult. What's that? I'm sorry.
You sound like the narrator from Splash Mountain.
I'll go with
it. Up the road.
Look, I'm just being infected by the spirit right now.
I got you. Yeah, those are the poltergeists that
Sure,
they do that.
Sylvia Brown, am I like possessed right now?
I hate psychics.
Fuck, well, you don't know shit.
Yeah, what is she?
Am I continuing with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so on Okay. On October 26, 1881, the cowboys rode into Tombstone. They left their horses at Dexter's livery stable, making their way to Spangenberg's gun shop. Virgil allegedly witnessed the cowboys filling their cartridge belt with bullets on 4th Street, a direct violation of the ordinance. Tensions were high.
Tensions were high.
Virgil's hostilities were higher. Should I keep this up? Yeah.
No, you can. You can. I'm enjoying it.
The Cowboys continued to the OK Corral, where they discussed their plans to kill Virgil, Morgan, and White Earp. Once I see the names, it just happens. It's
Yeah,
like I can't
right.
even-
Yeah, I love how you're like, and what?
Witnesses reported these threats to Virgil, who was Tombstone's current marshal. Virgil already believed that the Cowboys had violated the ordinance, so he was eager for a showdown.
I
Their
love
feud had reached the boiling point, an easy feat in the desert heat. I poet and I didn't even know it.
Oh man, my face hurts. And you're doing
the
like
horses-
Rocky
what?
Mouth. You're doing like Rocky Mouth when you're doing this.
Hey man,
It's
that's just how
great.
it goes. You ever see Mark Hamill when he does the Joker? He's all like, you
Bro,
know.
no, you're in character. I'm fucking loving this, man. This is great. I needed this.
So here's an eyewitness account
All right.
from miner Reuben F. Coleman, who later told the Tombstone epitaph, "I was in the OK Corral at 2:30 p.m. when I saw the two Clantons and the two McClowrys in an earnest conversation across the street at Dunbar's Corral. I went up the street and notified Sheriff Behan and told them it was my opinion that they meant trouble, and it was his duty as sheriff to go and disarm them. I told him that they had gone to the West End Corral. I then went and saw Marshal Virgil Earp and notified him to the same effect." I can't keep this up.
No, you're it's been good, man. It's been great. I can't. My fucking head hurts. I'm like, my face hurts.
All right,
Thank you
this
so
is-
much.
You're welcome. Oh man, look, there's some great quotes coming up here. Yeah, I mean, you know, Virgil testified to the warning, alleging afterward that he cautioned, "For God's sake, don't go down there, or they will murder you." Isn't that in the movie? For God's sake, don't go down there. Isn't that in the movie?
Well, no, I don't think he said no. No, he didn't say
No?
that. No.
But Virgil was a hard man. He didn't flinch. Virgil replied, "Those men have made their threats, and I will not arrest them, but I will kill them on sight."
You know, in the movie, he was like, something's got to be done. You know, that's what he,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Bill Paxton gets killed.
Oh, it's tough.
He's playing pool. Just gets
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, like mid shot, and he like does the face, like the oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
and he's like, you know, game over, man.
He gets killed by everybody: cowboys, aliens, predators, Terminators. What are
I was
those?
about to make a horrible joke, but let's keep going.
It's fine. Yeah. So no one knows why, but the Cowboys continued to the narrow lot near C.S. Fly's photography studio. There, the Earps joined Doc Holliday to confront the Cowboys. Once Virgil saw the Cowboys, he ordered, "Throw up your hands. I want your guns." The Cowboys refused to relinquish their weapons. The legendary gunfight began. So, people get shot. Frank's bullet bruised Doc Holliday's hip, grazing his holster. Virgil Earp was shot through the calf. Both Frank and Billy Clanton were killed. Tom McClary, too, was killed. Only Wyatt Earp was uninjured because he wasn't there. We know where he was. We just established it.
Yeah, right.
So, so today, the ghost of the gunfight, it's the OK Corral said to be haunted by the Cowboys and lawmen. Guests witnessed various poltergeists. You don't witness a poltergeist. It means a noisy ghost.
Yeah. Obviously, you didn't write this.
No, I did not. I'm
Yeah.
pulling this from a couple sources because we have to do that sometimes. Various apparitions throughout the property. Ghosts of men in cowboy attire are the most frequent sightings, appearing with their guns drawn. It's not a euphemism either. Their guns are pistols.
Yeah.
The OK Corral's manager alleges that he saw the specter of a tall, thin man in a flat-brimmed hat. Is it Virgil Earp? Or are these poltergeists of the cowboy faction preparing for a showdown? Cold spots are also reported throughout the livery. Plus, guests sometimes overhear the sounds of phantom horses.
That's cool. That's a
Or
band
they hear
name.
someone playing. Yeah, I know. Or they hear someone playing "Goodbye Horses."
All right. Goodbye, horses.
Yeah.
Don't drag me away.
No, that's Wild Horses.
Oh, what did you
Goodbye
say?
Horses is from
Goodbye Horses. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Buffalo Bills, famous.
Sorry. Forgive
He's
me.
trying to make a Wild West Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, you're good. I'm an idiot. We know that.
On May 25th, 1882, the OK Corral caught fire. It was an event that ravaged the Western Business District. Water was inaccessible, so residents used dynamite to control the fire. Curiously, they would blast the buildings within the fire's path, containing the fire's spread.
All right.
So, I don't want to destroy this building. Throw some dynamite in it.
One
You
guy's
can't
like,
let it burn.
yeah, one guy looked up from his stew and was like, I got some dynamite.
Cletus, just shut up.
Yeah. All right.
Never listen to my fucking ideas. Anymore.
Yeah, I got good fucking ideas. You guys will
Yep.
know about
So the OK Corral was rebuilt in time for Stuart Lake's 1933 wired-up frontier marshal. So they rebuilt what's there today in 1933. It's it's not it. Not even
remotely.
complete. It's complete what they call bunkum.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. So if you want to visit that place today, you can. It's reenacted daily by live actors.
Those guys must be.
They must hate life.
Yeah. Or
They're probably
what? They love it.
I feel like the guys who love it were probably there in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Now
true.
it's like they have to be like, this isn't like historically accurate. You shut your whore mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they shoot the blanks at them.
Yeah.
To
dance. Yeah. So it's a museum today. You can check it out and maybe even encounter some, paranormal activity for yourself.
Some poltergeists, apparently.
Apparently for people who don't know the use of that term.
Right.
So the OK Corral kind of,
Okay.
something happened there, but not even close to where you're going. Like, oh God, I could feel their spirits. Sylvia Brown would be like, oh God, and it's like, yeah, it happened all the way over there.
One woman's like, I see the body hanging. I see the body hanging. Shout out to Sightings Ghost Report.
I'm getting a specific passage from the Bible.
Yeah.
Now, this makes no sense, but we're going to try to bend it to the narrative. So.
Yeah. Eesh.
Yeah, buddy. You want to take us out of this?
Sure.
OK Corral.
Once again, take my hand. Let's gallivant on over to the Crystal Palace Saloon. So let me ask you a question. Is the Crystal Palace Saloon haunted?
I don't know. I've never been there. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, but spirits are known to linger around the location of their demise, and Tombstone is no stranger to tortured phantoms of yesteryear. However, the Crystal Palace Saloon wasn't the site of these gunfights or murders. Is it possible that the spirits of the past cling to the Crystal Palace as a familiar refuge from the rough and rowdy lives they lived? Well,
I don't know how. It burned down in 1882, so I don't know why they're at a new building.
Yeah, well, we didn't write this, so.
Yeah.
All right, the sounds of boots and spurs, slamming doors, roulette wheels that sometimes spin by themselves, wispy figures and strange glows appear in the photographs. All of these are signs that the Crystal Palace may, in fact, be haunted. There have been accounts of full-body apparitions, often dressed in late 19th century garbs. Who might these spirits be, and why?
I like late 1970s garbs.
Yeah, oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's all like John Travolta, like, I thought she's going to Australia. see you. So, yeah,
that's gonna haunt my dreams.
Yeah,
Please
you're
don't
welcome.
do that again.
Hey, you got to pay for the rest, pal. So, Western gunfighter Doc Holliday and Big Nose Kate were regulars at the saloon where the Crystal Palace stands. Are there ghosts haunting the Crystal Palace today? Doc Holliday and famed Lady of the Night Big Nose Kate were known to be lovers for some time. Yeah, she was a Lady of the Night, all right. Two famous figures had an on and off again relationship for a number of years, and when they were in Tombstone together, they could usually be found at the Crystal Palace Saloon. Though at times it was called the Golden Eagle Brewery. The couple met in 1877 in Fort Griffin, Texas. Doc considered Kate to be his intellectual equal. High praise for a man who would speak Latin so everyone would know he was the smartest man in the room. They traveled together for some time, but by the time they ended up in Tombstone, their relationship was on the rocks. Big Nose Kate and Doc would regularly stay in the Crystal Palace and had frequent arguments that could also be heard by others in the saloon. As they drank, the fight became louder and louder and more contentious. So like a couple that lives in Northeast Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
County Sheriff Johnny Behan once used Big Nose Kate's anger in an attempt to pin 2 murders and an attempted robbery on Doc Holliday. She signed a document that directly implicated him, but longtime friend Wyatt Earp was able to find several witnesses who could attest to the fact that Doc couldn't be involved.
I feel like Wyatt Earp was maybe kind of maybe a little bit of a knucklehead.
Yeah,
rascal even.
Yeah, I would say he was up to all kinds of hijinks. But yeah. So he was able to find several witnesses who would attest the fact that Doc couldn't have been involved. Doc was freed, but this episode spelled the end of his relationship with Big Nose Kate, on the contrary to the movie. There may have been several accounts of a provocatively dressed woman usually standing around the bar. Those who claim to have seen her say she seemed to be looking around intently for someone. She appears, then vanishes without a trace. The Crystal Palace was no stranger to the ladies of the night, of course. This apparition may not be a tragic player in the tale of the lost to time. Or perhaps it is the ghost of Big Nose Kate herself, looking for a strange lover, hoping to have one more chance to make amends. Or bang it out.
Ghost party.
Another common ghostly account is an older gentleman, well-dressed in 1880s clothing. He is seen sitting at a table, only to stand up and head to the men's restroom, but never comes out. There are also... Yeah, right. That's a mighty ghost dump, it sounds like. Or doing some ghost blow. I don't know. There are also several...
Did they even have cocaine back then?
It was in everything. It was like that was like their medicine.
Right.
It was
that
like,
wasn't even a drug. It was just like, oh, you want some whatever? It's like, oh, my back hurts, my nose hurts, my whatever.
Yeah, here's your miracle tonic. It's heroin, cocaine,
depressed.
alcohol, fucking snake venom, flannel.
That's why everyone was nuts back then.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's a whole town full of people just drinking that snake oil.
Oh god, yeah, and they're just hype off their mind playing 8-year-long poker games.
Yep, and then you lose.
Tuned up, grinding their teeth all the time. Right. They're like, why am I so ornery? I don't know. It's like, oh, maybe you've been fucking chugging a power mix of like the most rowdy drugs and alcohol known to man.
Yeah, unadulterated. Fucking
yeah. And that's why they felt invincible, right? That's why they felt that.
Oh, sure.
That's why they're doing all these gunfights. They're drunk out of their mind. They're all coked up. They're on opium. They're banging every painted lady of the night. They're just like
until their hearts explode.
Oh my god, yeah. Or they get shot,
Or they get shot through the heart.
Yeah, right. Or get it cut out.
Damn.
But there are also several stories of lights in the restrooms turning on and off by themselves. Faucets and toilets operating with no one touching them. That's the ghost dog. If these stories are true, who could the spirit haunting the men's restroom be? And why the men's room? Well, because of the dietary, choices of these men back then. And also, like, that guy was going into the bathroom and he never returned because that's where he died. And that's why you have that ghost and all that stuff happening there. Okay, there's a couple more here. There were a few notable figures who had offices in the upstairs portion of the Crystal Palace. Possibly the most notable was Virgil Earp, Tombstone's town marshal and deputy U.S. marshal. One encounter with these cowboys in particular seems especially intriguing. A patron of the bar named Carrie asked to have her photo taken by the bartender. When looking at the photo, she and the bartender could see a shadowy figure standing behind her. Sometimes later, Carrie approached the bartender again, saying she felt uneasy. She sat on the stool and asked him to take another photo. This time, 3 shadowy figures were seen behind her, and she felt unseen hands keeping her from standing. So holding her down, huh? All right.
That seems to be the the theme with this place.
Yeah, I mean, for as far as the ghosts and the hauntings there, it's surprisingly more short, but it's, the legendary, tale surrounding Doc Holliday and Big Nose Kate. That's the most famous part of that whole thing.
Right. Okay.
I mean, maybe all the ghosts that, my man Holliday was gunning down with the street howitzer, you know?
I mean, yeah. What an animal.
What an animal, right?
I mean, he's a hero in our terms, but you go back to these like accounts, they're like he was not not much more than a
once ate the arm off a
seriously.
foe.
Seriously.
This guy's a loon. And he's a doctor. He's speaking Latin. And who knows what he's saying? They don't know what he's saying. He could have been. He
could have been doing like pig Latin. And been like, yeah, that was Latin. And they're like, you're so smart. He's like, that's right, baby.
Yeah. And then Johnny Ringer comes along and somehow speaks the same fake language. And they're like,
yeah.
What? How did you?
Yeah.
How could you have done this?
I'm your Huckleberry.
Annie,
if I'm your Huckleberry. If I'm your Huckleberry, go ahead and smash that like button.
He's not going to leave us. He's here. Episode 50. It's a big one. Chills is with us.
Congratulations, guys, on episode 50 of Other Dangers podcast. This is Chills, and I'm irrelevant.
Not according to...
Not according to my view count.
Yeah. Most of those people are haters. They don't like me because of my voice.
I don't know what all smashed a lot.
I don't know.
Sorry, I took over myself.
There are two of me. That's how I put out so many videos.
That's why my name is a plural word. Chills.
Yeah, Chills.
There's two of us.
There's two of us. There are two of us. I don't think I talk. We are.
I'm pretty sure I don't have brain damage. That's fucked up.
Because he's pretty sure he wouldn't know.
Right. I'm pretty sure I don't have brain damage, but then again, I probably do. All right. So,
I mean, we got a couple more if we want to toss them in here, or we could just talk about Chills more.
All right, Ken. Let's sit back on the trail.
Yeah, I'm behind you.
Yeah, I know.
Let's take a walk here.
I'm going to the haunted Beauford house. So this is just one of those historic houses. I kind of like this one too. There's something that kind of rings true about this house, because the other ones are kind of like, the glitz and the glam of the fucking Wild West kind of thing. Very famous, very
selling point places.
Yeah. This one has a little bit more, I don't know, a little more authenticity to it. And when I was watching a couple of the things, especially that one beautiful documentary, which I'm sure we'll drop some clips into.
Already did earlier.
Oh yeah.
A few blocks from downtown Tombstone, on a quiet residential road called Safford Street, sits one of the town's most haunted houses. It's called the Beauford Bed and Breakfast, an unassuming two-story home built in the early 1880s during Tombstone's silver mining bonanza. With tons of silver being pulled from the surrounding mountains, Tombstone became a mecca not just for miners, but for wealthy mine owners as well.
The house was built in 1880 by George Beauford, who was a mine owner and also a mining engineer.
The Allens purchased the home in early 1999. Ever since, they have experienced a string of ghostly happenings. Guests have reported a strange light appearing in an upstairs bedroom. The light is particularly baffling. Even though it appears to be coming from outside the window, there is no street lamp or other source from which the light could come. In the same room, one guest reported a more spine-chilling experience. An argument with a Beauford house ghost.
She had a discussion with the little lady, like, ma'am, this is my room. I've rented it for the night. You need to leave. And the little lady's going, this is my room. You need to get out.
This one was the one that was like, okay, I kind of like this one. The owners of the house are annoying as fuck, but...
And I love her dropping the
just
food.
Don't go in our bedroom. We've made a deal.
Yeah.
You guys can do whatever you want out here. Ghost party, whatever.
Yeah. We put the Christmas tree up for you.
Right. So in 1888, 3 children died from diphtheria in the house.
Starting off cheery.
Right away. It was probably on Christmas morning too.
Yeah, right.
Another alleged occupant, George Davies, killed himself at the property in an attempted murder-suicide. Now a top spot for paranormal activity, Beauford House accommodates poltergeists. Son of a bitch. Must have a word with this person.
We should send an email.
I'm really gonna look.
Strongly
We were
worded
just
email.
we were using your article for a skeleton for our show, and you used the word poltergeist. Just not show some respect. All right.
Yeah.
It's German. It means noisy ghosts.
I was gonna say
just a ghost that makes noises. That's it.
I was gonna say, take it easy on the Germans, there, pal.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay. It's no secret that Tombstone is the most haunted site in the Southwest. This silver mining town has interred everyone from outlaws and lawmen to madams and murderers. Their specters stalk Tombstone today, disembodied and desperate for the grave. Travelers report faucets turning themselves on and off and back again. Lights flicker and fade, feebly finding their way through the dark. Doorbells ring whenever there's no one around. Guests encounter cold spots, and some feel the strange sensitivity of electric sensations. One woman felt a mild zap, or of what she considered a supernatural entity. Who are the ghosts of Beauford House?
Who are they? Who are they?
Well, it seems to be, George Beauford, who commissioned the Beauford House. He had no idea that it would witness the deaths of 3 of his 7 children. He had backups.
Yeah, right. Like they all did back then.
Yeah, this is, Beauford was a prominent Texas mining executive, and the Beauford House was to be one of Tombstone's finest. But by 1886, it was one of Tombstone's spookiest. I hate it. In less than 6 years, George's wife, Annie, gave birth to 7 children. Only 4 survived. The remaining 3 lost their lives at the ages of 2, 4, and 6. First child died of diphtheria, a highly contagious infection of the nose and throat. Yeah. Although the causes of death for the second and third children were undocumented, it's likely that they died of diphtheria as well. Are these the childlike poltergeists that... Bitch, did it again.
I was going to say,
poltergeists.
I was going to say, though, maybe the other 3 that she was like, if these don't be girls, may the devil have them. And then they became... the Tombstone Devils.
No. Okay. So Rhonda and Dwight Hull, psychic mediums, frequently investigate the Beauford House. Husband and wife couple. Can't stop them. After all, it's one of Tombstone's ghastliest attractions. The Hulls believe that the Beauford children are the most common paranormal occurrences at the location, alleging that they're friendly phantoms. Sometimes the Hull reads stories to the children. If they're lucky, they receive feedback. Dwight recounts, I've done this a couple of times where I've stopped in the middle of a story and said, okay, I'm done unless you can light that K2 meter up and tell me you want to hear the rest of the story. We turned on the Ovilus and immediately saw the 2 green lights. Who then demonstrates how the meter's lights will suddenly light up on command. Quote unquote, it is amazing.
It is amazing.
Are these adolescent specters the Beauford children?
No.
I like that whoever wrote this definitely took a high school creative writing class.
Yeah.
Because to keep the mystery, every paragraph ends with a question.
Right, and they also they have their thesaurus right. It's sort of like ghost.
Welcome to the Other Dangers Literary Podcast.
Well, they go all right, so we used ghost, phantom, specter, poltergeist 47 times. Let's go back to spirit, presence,
Yep. Throw in a revenant. Throw in a shade. Throw in a I don't know. My grandmother used to spin yarns about a spectral locomotive that used to rocket past the farm where she grew up.
Call it luck. Call it karma.
It's true. So then apparently there was a murder-suicide that took place later on in the house, but there's not much.
Well, that story is fucked up.
Oh no, it is.
That dude that he was like, yeah, we're gonna get married, me and this chick.
Yeah.
And he went and he stuck it out in the hottest of the coal mines. Everyone else gave up. He stuck it out. And he came back wealthy enough to marry her, and she took the arm of another man.
Yep. Yeah, the legend goes that George was a tenant of the property in 1888. Petra Edmonds, the object of his affections, lived within a block from the building. George wanted to marry Petra, yet George was down and out. To earn money, George purportedly left Tombstone for Casa Grande. He had hoped to return shooting his 6-shooters. I feel like this episode's turned more into The Quick and the Dead than Tombstone. I feel like we have that more of a vibe going on right now.
Love that.
Oh, dude, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
So good.
Virgil Sparks, Pride of Texas. It's dude, and then when he walks down the stairs, he's like whatever, and then they cut to Sharon Stone, and there's a poster, a wanted poster for Virgil Sparks, the guy wanted for rape on like 30 counts. It's like, what the fuck? And he comes down the stairs with 2 women in tow. It's like, what kind of inside fucking joke is that? And I didn't realize that till I saw the movie like 10 times. Watch it. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. Oh, I will again. Believe me.
I think Sam Raimi wakes up in the middle of the night sometimes. It's like
he literally slaps his knee and then goes back to bed.
He's like, never, I've not appreciated my time.
Yeah.
Oh God, off the trails again. Off the rails again.
Yeah.
Okay, so right. George purportedly left Tombstone for Casa Grande. He had hoped to return with enough to make Petra his bride. However, Petra had other ideas in mind. She took up with another man.
Bitch. What a big bitch.
George was obliterated.
Yeah, done.
He decided to kill Petra Edmonds. When he attempted to make good on his designs and murder Petra, the bullets missed her body. Either in fear or fury, George turned the gun upon himself, taking his own life.
Yeah.
The legend is only slightly fictitious, though.
Slightly.
Although George did commit suicide in Tombstone, it wasn't at Beauford House. George never resided in the building, though it's likely that it was familiar with the Beauford family. Instead, the suicide took place a block north on Stafford Street. George never traveled to Casa Grande either. Though he did attempt to marry Petra, he was an obsessive devotee, not a lovelorn admirer. Right. So he was kind of just like a psycho, kind of jilted, kind of like not even a lover, but just like a, no, sorry, I'm not interested. He's like, drink the fucking flowers. And she's like, I don't. And then it just,
he like, one time she's like, can you hold my gloves? And he was like, this is it.
He was like, I'll never wash in this pan again.
Yeah.
Even if I got stew on it.
Yeah. Even if a Bigfoot rips it off, I'll go back and get it.
Yep. Indeed. So on April 12th, 1888, George had asked Petra if he could escort her home. Petra denied George, so George tarried at the house of Ida Mandrich, meaning that he was just like hanging out there, like, oh, she'll change her mind, right. Like she'll come to, she'll say. He's probably dirty, filthy.
Oh yeah, stalker.
The dude in the there's always the one dude in the Western who has like overly yellow teeth, who always has to smile like, you're part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, you're the most, you're the shiniest nickel I've seen all year.
Looking like a snack, girl.
Looking like a stew stack, girl. Put you a cracker, I put you in my stew.
Oh boy. There he ridiculed Petra. He told Ida that Petra could go to hell, declaring Petra a flirt and a philanderer. George even alleged that he, quote, would shoot her and shoot himself before it was all over. His diabolical plan came to fruition the following day whenever he spotted Petra speaking to another man. Petra was assailed twice, yet survived. George Davies did not. He shot himself at the scene. The ghost of George Davies may haunt Tombstone, but you won't find him at the Beauford house. You're more likely to see him at the Edmonds, the site of his suicide.
And that's just so telling about like just the using of history for profit or like like the people that were in the one documentary, they were like, he was a nice boy, he looked in on a Christmas, he smiled, he was a jilted lover who was betrayed. And in reality, it's just like, no, this guy was a fucking stalker who was trying to getting them pantaloons and failed terribly, and then was just like, you didn't know what you had. I'm the greatest thing.
It's true, and he's just and then they use whatever they want from it. It's just never let the facts get in the way of a good story, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. So it's my turn again here. Take my hand. We're going to take a little gallop over to another street here in Tombstone. We're going to go over to Big Nose Kate's Saloon, who we talked about her a little bit earlier. Not as a jilted lover as a one of those 8-year 2-month 3-night stands, as it were. Right?
So just a shitty relationship.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
One of those on and off ones that you're like, oh, this is so toxic, but you're just like,
Yeah, but she has my Amazon password, and Netflix, and it's all, it's in, you know.
He's like, I left my good spurs in her saddlebags.
Whoa.
Which is a no-no. All right, so
she makes the best stew.
She makes the stew's the best. Locals and tourists alike have experienced paranormal activity within the spooky saloon. One employee felt cold, clammy hands around her throat. Another spotted spectral guests like the spirits of soiled doves and saddle bums once more. Other witnesses, phantom cowboys standing in the staircase or knocking over cases of beer in the basement. I'd fuck them up. Who are these sharpshooting spirits, you ask? Are these the Earps or Doc Holliday coming back for one last brawl? No.
With the beer? They're knocking beer over?
They're making money off that beer in Faro games. The poltergeist of Big Nose Kate is no gun-slinging specter. Instead, the establishment is stalked by the Grand Hotel's handyman, the Swamper. Who was Swamper, you might ask? Swamper was a handyman for the Grand Hotel, the former establishment of the location. He was a friendly, tough, exclusive chap who inhabited a small room in the basement. Curiously, no one was allowed in his bedroom. No one thought to ask why, perhaps wanting to give the Swamper his space.
Swamper, no swamping.
Oh, man. Dora the Explorer. All right.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. One witness who kept a room close to Swamper alleged that he was a treasure hunter. Yet Swamper didn't scrounge the city for silver. Instead, he dug shafts within the safety of his room. Oh, this guy's a fucking nut. Yeah. He believed that the treasure was buried beneath his feet, digging day and night. Some testify that Swamper found his treasure, but didn't know how to sneak it out of his hidey hole. Relocating the cache would involve walking past the downstairs bar and upstairs hotel. His secrecy would be jeopardized. He'd have to keep his treasure in his tunnels, where locals say they remain today. Although employees discovered Swamper's tunnels after his death, which is just fucking nuts. Mm-hmm. They were never able to find the treasure. The tubes were even traced to the abandoned shafts of Tugnut Mine, yet were never discovered, or yet were discovered vacant. Do they hold phenomena of a different kind?
Yeah, that's on one of the shows. I saw this. His tunnels. It's like his room, and then this guy was fucking crazy.
That's one of the coolest stories of this whole thing. There's this guy digging these fucking tunnels because it's not even paranormal. It's just like there's this loon digging these tunnels.
Do you think he was digging them with his hands or with a shovel?
I think he had something. I don't think it was a shovel. I think he made something. You know, he was
think he made hand shovels and he would dig with like both, fucking Wolverine.
So he had hand scoopers, right? That he made of rudimentary lathes strapped to his hands. And and that's insane. And here we go with my anxieties.
Oh god,
spelunking is I'm so drawn into watching those videos of cave divers and spelunking, and I'm so terrified.
And the guys jump into cenotes.
Well, more so Nutty Putty Cavern and or cave and even the ones that do the water cave diving, those crazy old British fucks. It's nuts, dude. It's too much. It's too.
That one cave in Mexico where it has the sign with the Grim Reaper on it. That's turn back, don't lose your life.
Dude, every water cave has that before you go to a point beyond.
Yeah.
You're gonna die here, and you hear all the stories about the people that fucking do it. But guess who wasn't phased? This lunatic Swamper and all the Mormons that live out by Nutty Putty Cavern. That this is their project.
Yeah,
they're so into it. But all right, so
don't they say something's hidden in there?
In Nutty Putty Cave, it's not hidden. It's locked in. John Jones died in there.
No, but wasn't that why wasn't there something with the Mormons? They were looking for there was some gold tablets in there or something.
Oh, that maybe not Nutty Putty. Okay. That's probably a different cavern. That's probably another one of their Nutty Putty fucking things there. But
special underwear.
Yeah, no offense to the Mormons who listen.
Fuck the Mormons. Go ahead.
Anyway, so during one expedition, excavators heard loud moaning once they approached Swamper's space. They even heard footsteps upon the staircase, leading them to think that someone had entered the building. They immediately searched the premises once they emerged above ground, but found the building abandoned. The doors are still locked. Moaning is, Well,
I told him not to go in his room, and you know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this Swamper anxious that the excavators had discovered his treasure? Although they didn't find Swamper's silver, perhaps he feared they come too close for comfort.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. All right, so Swamper, they don't even have a name for him, right? So immediately I think he's like a half ghoul or some kind of fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, like his eyes glow red in the dark or some shit. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's a character from a Souls game.
Sure. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like, you give him a name, it's like, don't go in Swamper's room. Like, doesn't this sound like a quest from like fucking Bloodborne or something? Like,
yeah, right. Like, and when you finally go there, the cutscene happens, and he turns around and says some crazy shit like,
"Yep." He has really long arms that he drags behind him, and then he like whips it around and like throws his weapon at you.
And then his second form is way faster, and it's crazy. But like, the idea is like, you know, he's just like, beyond these parts lay my treasure, and he's like dragging his arms back and forth on him.
Exactly.
And that's how he flails. And then the second form, he has his rudimentary lathe. That's a big swiping tool, and you're like, ah.
What's a lathe?
It's to like chisel rocks.
Oh, okay.
Lathe, you know.
Oh, is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Not a chisel?
Well, there's the chisel, but a lathe, I believe, is longer.
Oh, learn something new every day. Yeah. So a lathe is one of those things you put on a thing, and it like, you know, zzz, when they make like the furniture and they carve it out.
Well, that wouldn't be rudimentary. The zzz is yeah.
Hey, I'm just right. You got it, buddy. I never heard it.
Right. Anyway, we're drastically off trail here, but those sensitive to spiritual energies speculate that's why Swamper sticks around, to protect his treasure trove. Young men are particularly unwelcomed in Swamper's room, often pushed or poked by the unseen hands. Swamper also seems to take pleasure in making messes for the establishment. What a dick. He's the first suspect.
Kind of messes.
Well, yeah, he's the first suspect whenever objects are misplaced or spontaneously combust. Is he causing mischief on the staff of Big Nose Cape?
Dude, if I went to this town, I would legitimately be fucking scared of this thing. I'm like, what's the Swamper? Not saying Swamper like he's, that's Pete Swamper, McCarthy. No.
Yeah.
He didn't fucking have a name. Swamper was older than the town itself.
Right. Swamper, they built the town around Swamper.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, there's
Swamper
this, like,
was there.
Yeah. I feel a movie in the works.
Dude, why? And Swamper, there's no fucking swamps out there?
No. I mean, a Swamper, maybe it's, like someone that swamps somebody, isn't that like somebody that like isn't that like almost like a highwayman, a swamper? I don't know.
Hey, you learn something new every day.
You do.
Probably. I know highwayman. I don't know swamper as to anyone that isn't like going into.
But just
swamps.
that name, like it's just weird. They don't have like a name for him. He lives in this weird room that was always locked and you couldn't come in.
Right, and
he built these tunnels.
Yeah, well, that's the craziest part is that they actually have the evidence of this person digging these tunnels in this place, and they don't have a name. They have all this other shit that you know is fake that they built lore around. But Swamper, Swamper was there. Swamper dug tunnels. They go places, and he existed.
Yeah, one night they found Swamper, worshiping an ancient idol of Cthulhu or something. Like that's where this story's going.
Right. He knew knowledge of the old ones. He had some. I had to dig to their resting place too. And you're like, all right, Swamper. That's why we don't go in your room.
Yep.
Here's where you will lay if you enter my tunnels. But where was I at? Visitors witnessed the sound of phantom singing in empty rooms. I hate that. Oh, I hate that.
Oh, phantom singing?
Yeah. Yep. Others over here talking long after the building's abandonment. Spirits toss silverware from tabletops. Lights turn on and off by themselves. Even balcony mannequins are moved and tossed about by unseen specters. Yeah, that's Silent Hill for you.
Oh, I hate it. And mannequins in a dark room, and then when a flashlight hits a mannequin.
Oh yeah, that's dude. Training dummies like the Bob that you punch. Like I used to go out back there on the trash and I would see him and just like like oh no.
You know what though? That's the problem because Bob can take a hit. We know Bob can take a hit.
We know Bob can take a
fuck. What do I do? He just just keeps going.
And he just looks at you with his crazy Russian face. Right. But the last thing on this camera's malfunction will reveal inexplicable hazy blurs. There are cold spots and unidentified footsteps. Who else is haunting the spooky saloon?
Yeah, I really like. I mean, this is. I'm glad this is the one we kept for the end because this is my favorite one. I mean, I mean, I know we did all the fun Wild West stuff and we talked about Stu and I did that dumb voice, but like, this is my favorite part. Like the Swamper thing. I think I'm going to look more into this. This is interesting
because Swamper can almost be like a monster too, right?
He
like,
is a monster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like he could be. It's not just his ghost. We could be talking about the ghost of like a some kind of ancient being that was like
because it's like when we came to Tombstone we found Swamper, or as the Indians called him, and they give him a name, the one that dwells below,
or like Swamper, or as the Indians called him, like Hatate Budur, like
which means the one who burrows beneath.
The one beneath the dirt,
Yep.
Ooh, that is the that is
the last of an ancient race. His
body was a husk, his skin that of rock. Like he's like a burrower. He's like one of the guys from Zelda.
Oh yeah, true.
But lankier.
Sure. Not too much, definitely.
Yeah, like why is Lanky scarier? You know what I mean? Like why is Lanky the scary?
I think it's unnatural movement because people don't normally move like that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's this Swamper character is my I want to he's the hologram card of this fucking episode. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
a couple characters. I was like, holy shit, I got a fucking Swamper hologram.
If we do another T-shirt, we might have to have the Swamper T-shirt.
I like it, man. I'm into it.
Yeah,
he's fucking cool. He's fucking scary. I mean, we might have to revisit Swamper. I'm gonna not say we're gonna put a pin in this, but I'm gonna look further into Swamper because I like this story. This is weird as fuck because there's nothing else on like who he might be. There's just he just
Swamper
might stick around.
It's just Swamper. That's the thing that you're not making money off Swamper, right? You're the like archaeologist or like geologist or someone might be interested in Swamper, right? It's not the sexy. It's not sexy. No. It's like there was this guy that you couldn't go into his room and they just knew him as Swamper, and he had a room. Why did he have a room? And he was there. Like what?
Yep.
Digging how many tunnels?
And he used to come in and howl the ancient rites under the blood moon. It's like, okay.
What if though too, like he had one of those like jaws that like extended and he was just like eating the dirt, like he like had like that'd be fucking terrifying.
Or maybe there was a whole like kind of like blood pact where Wyatt Earp had to feed him a prostitute every fortnight.
I'm liking what you're putting down right there. That's
Wyatt Earp had made a pact with the old ones.
Yeah. That's written by Ken James and Jason McKittrick too. Our version of
Cthulhu, the Cthulhu mythos comes to Tombstone.
Oh my god! Oh, thank God you brought that up. Did you see that movie? It's called like The Red Door, and it was like I think it was like Shudder's maybe attempt to do like a witches versus cowboys kind of movie.
Oof.
And like the thing, oh my god, I had it because I was interested in it. It sounded cool. The premise could have worked,
but it was bad.
If they just cast it and written it well or directed it well. It was just like...
If it was just not that movie, it would have been good.
Yeah, right.
If everything was different, it would have been good.
And the lead guy I liked, he was a guy that he was on Always Sunny. He played a guy they kept confusing as Bruce Mathis, the real dad. And he had this other show that he was the lead guy, and he was funny. He's actually a funny guy, and I enjoy him, but like, I was like, oh, cool, I'll check this out. And I was watching it, and then like I was like, yo, the makeup, the special effects, I was like, this is a hot turd, time to flush. And I was very upset. Don't do that to my Wild West paranormal stuff.
I hear you. So Swamper means a laborer, especially one employed as a general assistant to a riverboat captain.
Well, there you go.
In Arizona?
You learn something new every day.
In Arizona?
Well, maybe the riverboat captain was the ferryman that takes you to the other side.
I don't know, we could go there. Or a native or inhabitant of a swampy region.
Well, that's what I was thinking, right?
He was fucking Swamp Thing.
I just don't think Swamp Thing's scary enough for this guy.
What the fuck? Have you not read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing?
I'm just saying I don't see Swamp Thing like, it's not like don't come near me. It's like Swamp Thing's like
Yeah.
Okay,
He hates
okay.
people. He's the guardian of the green.
All right, but like that's not what. There's no green in Arizona.
Exactly. That's why it's fucking creepy. He's digging for it.
He's digging for the green.
Yeah, dude.
He's after it. He's under it.
I'm gonna give you that series. You can cut this out if you want to keep it in, but I'm
whatever.
gonna give you that series. It's fucking mind bending. Like it.
All right.
Swamp Thing by Alan Moore is
An asshole exploding
twice.
But yeah, so there were a couple other honorable mentions that we didn't really get into. This is a heavy episode. It's episode 50. We wanted to, bring you the real big boys here. There's Schiffelin Hall. Is that how you say it?
Schiffelin Hall.
Schiffelin
I
Hall?
didn't. Yeah, I didn't get a good pronunciation on that one.
Right,
But,
and then,
that's got some interesting stuff in it, but just not enough. It was very similar to the other stuff that we had already spoken about.
Right.
And then
Bordello B&B Bed and Breakfast,
yes,
which is
it was very similar to. It was all just very similar. So
yeah,
like just
more prostitutes, gambling, drinking, murders. It's the same kind of deal as you do. And like the Tombstone, the whole concept of the town itself, like the town is too tough to die, and like still having like the streets that they have and like the look. It's such a piece of Americana in a way that like like Walt Disney creamed in his pants. He's like, like it's such a it's so good. The architecture of everything, and like I said, it's like a kind of a bucket list thing, but it's so tough. Like when you have to actually separate what the fact from the fiction, and realizing what is what. So like you have psychics flocking with their bullshit stories and.
Well, I mean that kind of shit happens with any of that kind of stuff, and unfortunately, like any of these big, Mount Rushmore of the paranormal, as we like to call them, locations, you're always going to have that kind of thing because the story is so big that it's like, okay, well, there are here's some inconvenient facts over here.
Right.
We'll print them in the pamphlet, but we're not going to make them part of the tour.
Right. Well, that's why the Beauford house was so cool, right? Because it was like a local haunting. Like you hear in your own town, you just hear about like
and it's got the crime of passion associated with it, and it's
it's not the big selling point of like this is where this gunfight happened and these famous names. It's like no, this is just like a house that some shit happened in, and it's
it's funny because the OK Corral is like to me the least interesting part of the town. Like when they go to even these the ghost shows when they go to these places, it's like. They don't. It's like okay, yeah, here it is. Whatever. They usually stick to like Birdcage or Big Nose Kate's,
right? Because
I think those are the more interesting places.
Unless it's BuzzFeed Unsolved, and they like spend all their time at the OK Corral by like the mannequins,
Yeah, they're sweet boys.
They're sweet. They are. The Ghoul Boys are sweet.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that puts kind of the book note. Or the book end on this. It's just such a cool place, and we laugh about all the stories because we know that covering this kind of information and stuff that we've been into for so long in our lives that like there's so much BS surrounding this kind of stuff, and it's like when you get to something like the Swamper or like the smaller. Lesser known things that becomes the most interesting because it's not the giant selling point, the Mount Rushmore's like you're saying, and
yeah, I like it because it has another quality to the town where you have the big fun stuff, but then you get like because I was looking at pictures. Do you see pictures of his room? They still have his. It's
no, but I will be doing.
I'll make it the episode artwork for this.
Oh, beautiful.
It's gross and. It's like somebody lived in there. Oh my god.
Yeah,
and it's like well, sort of. Someone lived in there.
Yeah, sort of. Someone just tunneled through there. It's insane.
Yeah. Jesus. But Tombstone, man. I mean, it's it's one of the big ones, and glad we decided to cover it, man.
Right. I'm glad too that you brought it up because, like, I've always told you, I feel like in my past life I was a Wild West lawman.
But yeah.
Yeah, I have a weird feeling about it.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
I feel like I was a Wild West lawman.
That's it?
Yeah. No, I get weird like affinities for like vengeance and justice, and I'm not Batman, so like And also, I'm drawn to the idea of like a gentleman's duel with like this is it, and also chasing down the baddies, chasing them out. I've always felt like home with that idea, and like seeing it visualized. I've always been like, I've been here before, like in a weird way. Like,
okay,
I don't know. It's weird. It's odd, and
Okay,
it's
hey. Is it another danger?
definitely is because it can stir up some anxieties with your boy over here. Who,
Cowboy stuff, Ken?
no, just the idea of past lives.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man, yeah, no, yeah. Hey man, dude.
Next week we're going to be doing an episode on past lives.
Yeah, no, we're not, and not because
We're
the
going to bring in a
anxieties.
psychic and we're going to relive our past lives, and Ken will take the rest of the show.
Yeah, right. No, that's not gonna happen. Well, by anxieties, I mean my brain is this like just cave of like, what's this? And I'm just walking around my brain with like a torch, and I'm just like, at times, and I'm like, I turn, I'm like, whoa!
Wow.
Yeah, man, it gets crazy over here. It gets crazy over here. And sorry that we took a little time. We're both very busy, like we say we are.
So busy.
Yeah, it's so busy, and I've been dealing with a couple things here and there, but I'm glad to be back. I so excited. I needed this so much, and we love doing it, and we hope to keep on doing it.
Oh yeah, man. We got another clip of shows coming up. We're gonna get together again and
Right.
record a few more that do not induce anxiety for Ken. We're gonna do some fun ones.
Right. Yeah. This was a fun one for me. I needed a fun one. Fun one.
Next time we should actually eat stew while we're just whatever the subject is, just us eating stew.
Just stew. Just
It's like, all right, what's this one? This is the Campbell's. What do you got? I got the Dinty Moore.
Yeah.
Like,
this one tastes homemade.
Oh God.
Us. I guess we even covered our closing statements there. I think I'd say we didn't even need to bring it up. I think that does it for this episode of Other Dangers Podcast. And I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangers Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangers Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.